Hello, Internet. Zombie Andre, welcome back to another UFL video. I went through the comments of the first two videos I did, 8 cities that the UFL should consider expanding to, and the viewer rebuttals. Went through some of the comments, picked out a few that I kind of wanted to address a little bit closer rather than just type out a few words in the comments section. I decided to make a video about it. Got some more UFL videos on the way. The Super Bowl coming up this weekend, which means once that's done, focus moves on to spring football, and it's going to be great. The XFL champions kicking off against the USFL champions, and I'm excited. I'm not the X's and O guy. I'm not the one that's so deep into the players and the stats and everything. I'm about the enjoyment of the game, so most of my lists are going to be top 10, top 8s, just viewer opinion based on the overall generalness of the league. So I try to keep it a little bit lighthearted. If that's the kind of content that you like, click that subscribe button. Thumbs up, thumbs down, either way doesn't matter to me, just as long as you leave some sort of reaction. And as always, leave a comment because I may find yours and use it in an upcoming video. All right, so we're going to start off with this comment from Frank YM69. San Fran would be cool. The Demons had pretty sick branding. Portland, hell no, hard no. Crime is outrageous there. The homelessness are taking over the city with staggering numbers. They do nothing about crime, bully their police department, I'm not going to get into all of the nuances there. Would love to see them back, but the entire West Coast is in a shambles, man. KC and Louisville could be possibilities for sure. OKC is a terrible market. They had a USL team, a soccer team that went dormant, then totally folded 2 years later with the league rebranded as USLC, and an AHL hockey team to staggering low fanfare and interest. This list is terrible. All right, a couple points to address here. First off, you're right about San Fran having pretty sick branding with the Demons. I was there for all 5 games. Right, kind of catty-cornered off to the left of the hellhole if you're looking at the hellhole. Portland, hell no. Look, I'm going to agree with you on the crime and the homelessness situation. There's a lot of problems happening in Portland that may put them down farther on the priority list until they can get that figured out. That may hurt interest for the UFL to want to go there. I mentioned Boise, Idaho as a possible alternative location, and it seems a few of the people in the comments agreed with that. KC, Louisville, possibilities for sure. Okay. OKC being a terrible market. You're using soccer and hockey as an example for Oklahoma City. This is a suburban area in the middle of the country that survives on meat, potatoes, country music, and Budweiser. Or, I don't really know what they drink in Oklahoma, so if you're in Oklahoma, leave a comment down below. What are you drinking out there in the bars on tap? Pour it. Yeah, so I don't think that's a great example of why OKC is a terrible market. Obviously, they're hungry for sports. Oklahoma Sooners sell out every single week. OSU sell out every single week. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they're packing the house and they're putting on an exciting product, and there's interest. I just don't think there's interest in hockey in the Midwest, in the southern Midwest, outside of the Dallas Stars. And as far as soccer, I honestly don't think soccer is an Oklahoma priority. So, and as far as this list being terrible, well, you agreed with some of it, so, but hey, I do appreciate your comments. We're going to take a look at this next comment from Manon Redhelm. Nothing in the Northeast, eh? Even NASCAR holds 10% of its races in the Northeast. I guess that corner of the U.S. is better off following the CFL. They have more local teams and far more history. No need to worry about shutting them down after a single year if the ticket receipts are disappointing. I hope St. Louis gets a serious look from the CFL if they remain the lone bright spot in yet another failed league. They're closer to the East Division than anyone in Western Canada, and the East Division needs another team to even things out. Well, I'm not sure how things are happening in the CFL because, quite honestly, I don't watch Canadian football. the worry about the shutting down after a single year if the ticket receipts are disappointment is a valid concern. And I think that when expansion does come back, you're going to see a few teams, especially from the XFL, like the Vegas Vipers, who are playing in a terrible stadium to very little fan interest. I don't think they come back because the ticket receipts were so disappointing, because the fan interest was so disappointing. And to be quite honest, it was the wrong market at the wrong time. The Vegas Outlaws didn't do good in the first iteration of the XFL, and the Vegas Vipers didn't as well. So I use Vegas to support that comment about worrying about them shutting down after a single year. It is a valid concern. User-DN5MI6QH8M. Love that name. Hey B, a great job breaking it down. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I feel what you're rolling out there. What do you think of the European Football League? They adopted the XFL rules. I thumbs up that. I see in the near future a Summer World Bowl with the ELF. I love that initials too, by the way. The ELF League. It's the ELF League. I also believe that they should keep the kickoff rule and the 4th down and 12 rule. Don't forget the 1 foot in bound rule. You're not wrong. The UFL is not the NFL. I would like to hear your opinion on expansion in the next few years. I know I'm jumping ahead, but I like your blunt commentary. What if in a few years the league goes to 16 teams? For the love of football, I would love to hear your answer. Don't forget July 4th, 2026, a World Bowl with ELF could be in a city near you. Well, I mean, if they move ahead to 16 teams, I've already laid out in the first 2 videos which 16 cities I could see them going to. If I were to add a few that I would love to see them go to, Boise, Idaho is definitely on the list. Lived there for 9 years, was an absolutely beautiful city. And the fact that the Boise State football stadium, the Blue, is right downtown could be an appealing factor. Because quite honestly, once you get into the spring, there's not a lot of things to do sporting wise in Boise. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things you can do in Boise, and I'm not saying there isn't, but as far as sports goes, they have a minor league baseball team that I don't think starts up till either late May or early June, so it would give them something to fill a nice little gap. I would love to see something in maybe the Rochester, Syracuse area of New York. Definitely not in New York City. They don't need it. And to be quite honest, I think it would be a extremely hard sell to find a fan base in New York City just because there are so many other distractions. I've seen Tampa on the list. I'm kind of down on Florida as far as the spring leagues go. And I think maybe it's just because I don't know. I don't know why I'm down on Florida. Tampa could have a team. Orlando could have a team. I don't think Miami should have a team. Jacksonville, I don't think needs a team. I think you just kind of keep it to the two, well, I guess the one major touristy city in Orlando and its closest sister city, I guess, in Tampa. But other than that, I think kind of the lists that I did put out earlier, I think that covers those cities that I think would and should be considered for expansion. Thank you for bringing the European Football League to my attention. I will take a look at it a little bit deeper. I have not had an opportunity yet, but thank you very much for the heads up. All right, we got the EWDSDS saying hello from Minnesota. Hello, Minnesota. How you doing? Love you. We would love a team here. We've been trying to get more sports teams here. You know what? I would actually love to see Minnesota get a football team. And I'm not the only one, because Vikings fan 1233 also says, come to Minnesota. UFL. Seems like there's some demand up in the greater north of the country. Nick Mira 5323 says, at the end of the 2024 UFL season, the 2 playoff losers should play an exhibition game the Friday before the championship game in Omaha, Nebraska. The teams should drop their moniker, then take the field as the UN Omaha Mustangs and U New Orleans Privateers with honorary head coaches Peyton Manning and Eli Manning to see who is numero uno. I like where you started there. I like the idea of the two playoff losers playing in a consolation game the day before the championship game. As far as Omaha, Nebraska, that seems to be kind of a random location. I would suggest that game be on a rotating basis every year amongst the existing UFL teams and have the honorary coaches rotate as well. Eli and Peyton being a great first-year matchup. Who would be a great second, third, fourth-year matchup? Who would be some players that you'd love to see take over the helm of these UFL consolation games? It's an interesting idea. Few flaws in execution on my perspective, but it's not a bad idea. Mitchell still says, I think it's a matter of survival. Reduce travel costs, pick cities that had so success and a fan base that attend games. I'm just reading verbatim, folks. No, it was not ideal, but it is a start. This is probably the last chance for a spring football league to survive. It's successful and profitable in 2024. 2025, I'm sure, will bring expansion. Remember, the northeastern part of the U.S. has a huge population and no teams either. So it's not just the West Coast. You're not wrong. However, if you look at, say, the state of New York, majority of the population of New York live basically in New York City, Staten Island, the five boroughs, all that stuff. New Jersey had a USFL team, and I'm not sure the reason why they shut it down for this season. Philly's also right there. So you're not wrong. But the point of being East Coast heavy was the fact that if you look at the video that I did about the Nope Zone, or does the UFL have a problem already? Link in the comment description below. There's just nothing over on this side of the country, while you do have spattering of teams here. You have 3 in Texas, but you have 1 out in DC, you have 1 in St. Louis, up in Michigan. So you kind of have you only have 8 teams, and 5 of those are sprinkled around there. So obviously, with such a small sample size, you have to kind of pick and choose where you think you might be successful. DC obviously having the track record. I think eventually we will see perhaps a team brought back from New Jersey, maybe Philadelphia. It would make sense to give teams like Michigan and DC a little bit more of a regional opponent, but it also needs to bring West Coast teams out simply because you cannot continue alienating half the country and potentially losing that fan base and expect to survive. I think these two might be my favorite of the comments that I saw. Fanman71 says, San Diego, people are aching for football, but unfortunately the Chargers are not walking through the door. You are not wrong there. San Diego, I feel for you. The Spanos family did you dirty. And I would love to see San Diego get a football team with the powder blue unis. But I think this right here might be the end-all, be-all. Wade Duke Dungan, 3172, says, give San Diego back a football team. Can't say anything else than that. All right, so that's just some of the viewer comments that I wanted to touch on. Again, I've got some more videos getting ready to be released, still working on some concepts and some editing. I've got one that is almost ready to be released. But before I go, as kind of a bonus to see who actually makes it to the end of the video, I want to throw out an idea. What if the UFL held in Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, an exhibition game, but not just any exhibition game, the UFL versus the XFL champions in Allegiant Stadium at midnight. Can you think of anything else that's more Vegas than that? I'm Beyondre. I'll see you in the next one.